So this is just some things that can happen to when the saboteurs play up. So the saboteurs, like I said, they're just in your mind constantly, you know, keeping you anxious, self-doubting. And when your transition from A to B, there's always some self-doubt involved, you know, and your saboteurs are always going to play up, okay? It's normal. Everybody's going through the same. It's not one that is more than the other and whatever. There's no competition here, right? So especially when you transition into becoming your own boss, because this is my specialty. I fired my boss back in 2015, and I help people that coaches, mainly, that are still in the 9-to-5 or want to take the leap. Or I also work with coaches that want to transition from their one-to-one to a one-to-many, which is the group dynamics module, okay? Helping them, training them, and mentoring them on how to put together their group programs, okay? So this is what I've experienced with my saboteurs, right? My stickler, like I said, it was always very, very high. So it took me, like literally in the beginning, when after I quit and I started my own business, there was so many questions in my head. What am I going to do? Where do I start? And what if it's not going to work? And you know, who am I going to see? Who am I going to become? I was talking very corporately. You know, I wasn't being myself, basically. I was just pretending to be somebody that I was not, which is not a good thing to do, right? So in the beginning, right in the beginning, because of my stickler, it literally took me 18 months to launch my first group program. I felt like I was pregnant of an elephant because I took like made hundreds of videos. Nothing was perfect. I was finding some little detail that was like, I could do it better. I could do it better. This is not good enough. You know, I can make this better. And this is what this anxiety and these thoughts that were roaming my head back then, right? And also my perfectionist brings the worst sarcastic behavior in me, because I remember back then when I wasn't being successful, I wanted to be like successful like straight away, which is not going to happen. We need to give time for things to evolve, right? And there's a lot of things that I did back then that I'm not doing right now. And it changes. And I've been transitioning for the past 8 years, almost, in March. So I was like joking around, and I was not attracting the right clients, not the right audience. My focus was all over the place. You know, I was totally frustrated and tense, right? When I started my business, and it's normal. And before I quit my 9-to-5, I was also frustrated because I wasn't happy where I was. So, and I wasn't valued in my current position, and I had a very good position. I was a strategic buyer for an aerospace company in the UK. You know, very good position, very good salary, but I was not happy, right? And that's when I start questioning my purpose. You know, can this get better? And that's when I quit, because I reached that limit that I draw a line on the sand. So also there's quite a lot here, and I don't want to go through too much. My hyperachiever doesn't allow to congratulate myself from my past achievements. So I'm always like, I want to achieve more, but I'm not really looking at what I've already achieved. You know, what I've already done, the programs, the certificates, the certifications that I have, what I've achieved in my life, work life and my business life, right? So this is what the hyperachiever will do to you. You're never, you're never happy with what you've got. You want to achieve more and more and more. Or you'll have thoughts like, oh, I'll be super happy when I get this, or I get that, or I get this, right? Then I'll be happy. I've been called a workaholic and a hard-faced cow, just so you know. But it's just the persona that I was being whilst at corporate, right? To please as well, and we're going to the pleaser, to please the execs, to please my teammates, to please everybody else except me. The restless is the one that, and I've got this one as well, is like when we go like busy doing, and we're not doing nothing at all, right? We think that the next exciting idea is the one, right? And we get there and it's not. So we just have to, you know, give it time and settle down. And this is what I need to remind myself, is slow down to speed up. Slow down to speed up. And also telling myself, I can 100% multitask. I'm sorry, I'm a multitask queen, right? So the things that you say to yourself, the thoughts that you have in your mind, again, unpleasant with feelings that make me feel uncomfortable, so I disregard them as well, right? And there's the fear of missing out as well. It's called it FOMO, fear of missing out. So like, for example, in events, I would go to events with other coaches, friends and colleagues and clients, because I was so scared that I was going to miss out. I've been to amazing events, by the way. And that now I don't feel that way in regards to the fear of missing out. But it's a process and we need to trust the process. So the avoider can't stand conflict. There's conflict over there knocking on the door, and the avoider puts a bag in his or her head and just ignores it. Does not want confrontation, does not want conflict. It's always playing the joker or the peacemaker when there are conflicts. Either this could be with clients or with a team. Avoid going to networking events. That's another thing, because, you know, if you want to have your own business, if you want to be a coach, if you want to, you know, start your own business, one of the ways to expose yourself to be more visible is going to networking events. So this is definitely a saboteur that you need to work on, because you need to be visible. You need to show up. You know, you need to show up for your message, your positioning, what you want to do, and how you want to be known for. The pleaser, I mean, everybody knows the pleaser, right? Yeah, we all are. You know, I want everybody to like me. I want, you know, to be looked after. I want, you know, I don't think about myself. I think about others, right? So this is, this was reflected on me even with clients. I would say yes to everything, but then I'll overstretch myself as well, right? And other times I couldn't even deliver what I said yes to. So sometimes it's good to say no, and then start with saying no to yourself, so, you know, to others, so you can say yes to yourself, right? Your energy will shift. Your energy when you start to please yourself, that sounds kind of naughty, but when you start to please yourself first, that's when you start projecting a different energetic vibrational, frequency. Okay. And others will see that. This is when you start shifting. It's amazing. The hypervigilant is that one. What's going to happen? We can't go that way. There's too much danger. What if I'm not going to even become my own boss because, what people are going to think, and what if it's not going to work? And the vigilant is always looking for vigilant danger, and just always looking for security, to be like in this nice, comfortable place. If you're in your comfortable zone and you're not step out into your power, you never unleash your true potential, basically. And you're going to just keep in your familiar stuff and not take risks, because the hypervigilant does not take risks at all. Oh, yes. Another one is always doubtful that launches are not going to be successful. What if I make a mistake? What everybody's going to say, that I'm unprofessional, that I don't look the part, all that stuff. I'm a fraud, basically. So that's not a good feeling to have. The controller is controls everything. When I think about it, I am a controller as well. I have controller tendencies as well, especially in regards to my children. And even in my relationship. So I've got like relationship controlling issues I have, right? Also, when it's, if I don't take charge of a big project, because I can see all the parts of the project and where it's going, if I don't take charge, who's going to take charge? And then nobody else is going to do it as good as me, sort of thing, a sort of attitude. Being very impatient when I want to achieve something, and this has held me back big time. So now I'll just pause and choose to not be this way, because this is the saboteur telling you that it's okay to be impatient. It will happen. You'll see, it will happen. But at the end of the day, if you don't activate and you don't put into action what you want to achieve, nothing will happen. Okay. Things like that, I would say, oh, don't tell me what to do. I've said that millions of times. Please don't tell me what to do, especially with my husband. Sometimes my husband goes like, you have to do this. He's very oriented, he's very hyper rational, so he gets the solutions before it actually happens. And it's confrontational, and sometimes I get a bit arrogant. I'm just being truthful here, and I said, like, please don't tell me what to do. I know what to do, right? If I don't control, I will be controlled, and I can't live with that, right? This kind of statements, this kind of feelings. The victim is the poor me, everything happens to me, why me, and so on, right? And the hyper-rational loves to analyze everything, every situation, and sometimes hyper analyzes. And what they say, you can get analysis paralysis, so then nothing's done. So give them a spreadsheet and he's going to be happy. He or she is going to be happy with it. Hyper rationals love business processes, and they often lose track of time when they're focusing on a project.